Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for some more Star Wars Battlefront II news, and quite a bit has been said by the developers today regarding possible future maps, a quick update on the upcoming community transmission and more, so let's not waste any time and just jump right into it. First things first, design director Dennis Brandval did give a bit of an update on the possibility of Battlefront 2015 maps and heroes being brought forward to make a return in Battlefront 2, saying that for maps like they did with Bespin and Jabba's Palace, it could make sense for them to bring more maps forward and that the process they used to port them could be improved a bit just to save additional time for the developers. However, he does say that for heroes it would ultimately be pointless, as DICE would have to recreate everything other than the 3D model itself, and honestly for heroes like Jyn and Krennic, I would really hope they would redo the 3D model as well, as they would not look so great upscaled into Battlefront 2. I don't know how many of you guys remember Chewie from Battlefront 2015, but he was an absolute monstrosity. So what Dennis is basically saying is while there are no current plans, more maps being brought forward from Battlefront 2015 is definitely a possibility, but we should never expect to see any of the heroes from the previous game in their form from Battlefront 2015. Of course, that isn't to say we won't ever get Jyn, Krennic, or any of the other heroes we're still waiting on, but if we do, they'll definitely have a unique loadout, completely separate from the kit they had in Battlefront 2015. Honestly, I feel like someone like Krennic could just keep the same loadout, as he would still be pretty unique and would be very strong in this game, but heroes like Greedo, who have had their entire setup moved over to another hero, considering like Lando has his sharp shot ability from the last game, he would definitely need a completely new kit if they were to ever bring those heroes back. Another quick update from Dennis, a fan over on Twitter asked him if there was any possibility we could see either the Shock Troopers or the Shadow Troopers from the last game make a return to Battlefront 2, to which Ben replied saying that the Death Trooper has more or less just taken the place of the Shadow Trooper, and he didn't comment on the Shock Trooper at all, so it's still a possibility we could see those guys. Honestly, when it comes to the Shadow Troopers, it's a little bit disappointing, as I always thought the Shadow Troopers were way cooler than the Death Troopers ever were, especially when you consider them from a design perspective, but I do understand that in terms of appearance they do look very similar. Still, I would love for Dennis to change his mind on this topic, because Death Troopers are incredible, but Shadow Troopers are just so much better and were my favorite customization option from the last game. Next up, this time coming from Ben, he did comment again on Mace Windu potentially coming to Battlefront 2. The other day we discussed a comment from one of the devs who said there were no current plans to add Mace to the game, to which Ben doubled down upon, saying that in his opinion, Mace was one of the most overrated members of the Jedi Council, which that just made me cringe. I do not agree, but he also said that while he wouldn't mind seeing Mace at some point, there are several heroes he would want first, and I definitely do not agree with his first comment, but as far as other heroes go, I definitely would like to see some representation of other eras right about now. We just got 4 Clone Wars lightsaber heroes in a row, and according to leaks there are 2 more currently in development, which would make 6 in a row, so I would seriously love to see a new pair of blaster heroes at some point, just to shake things up a bit. Personally, I would really love to see Padme and Jango Fett. I think they would make for a great pair alongside Coruscant, but we'll have to wait and see what is coming on down the line. Also, for those of you who are wondering when we should expect the community transmission for this week's update, Total FPS, who is another DICE developer, gave a quick little update saying that the community transmission is doing great, and because the transmission is directly tied to the changes made in this update, we shouldn't expect it until very close to the actual update itself, which drops this Wednesday. That is fine in my opinion, since this update is mostly bug fixes alongside Kashyyyk for Capital Supremacy. I imagine some changes might not be ready to make it into the update, and things could change at the very last moment. So, me personally, I would rather have an accurate transmission later than an inaccurate one today. Ben also chimed in on this same thread, replying to someone who asked if the community should stop expecting regular transmissions, seeing as we haven't been getting very many lately. In response, Ben said that the team is ready to shake things up communication-wise. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but personally I think the regular community transmissions like we were getting a couple of months ago were great, and I really hope DICE starts putting them out regularly again, as I'm really not loving the communication drought we've been having lately. Instead of looking at official sources, I more or less have to comb through like 10 different developers' tweets just to find the news I'm looking for so I can report it to you guys. For those of you who are a fan of Darth Vader and like me think he needs some extra stamina, Vader is getting a buff with the next update, a buff I very much agree with. Jay said over on the forums that Vader will be getting a pretty substantial stamina increase with the next update, and now will be able to swing 2 additional times before he runs out. This is great in my opinion. Vader is still a pretty strong hero, but with Anakin being as ridiculous as he currently is, Vader really could use a little bit of extra stamina. Even though his is already very high, he just takes so long to regenerate, I think it's a great thing he's getting a couple of extra swings, and I think it will help him out immensely. I hope Grievous gets the same treatment, as the update 2 stamina really hurt Grievous as a villain, and definitely knocked him down a few pegs in the ratings. Grievous in particular took a huge hit not being able to swing after running out, as he already has so little, and made his Sith Train star card way more of a trade-off, and just not worth it in a lot of scenarios. Finally, popular Twitch streamer Shroud did end up streaming Battlefront 2 for a while over the weekend, and when the dev team was asked what they learned from the stream that exposed the game to like 30,000 new players consecutively, Jay said that the team took note of his feedback, pointing out that facing high-level players with fully upgraded star cards as a new player just isn't an enjoyable experience. He also clarified and said that didn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that they would be bringing back any microtransactions for ranking up, but this does at least mean they are looking for ways to make it easier just for new players, and there are a lot of them lately, to catch up to the veterans. And personally, I think it's already incredibly easy to rank up, and that is unnecessary. I took my Anakin from level 1 to max rank within a little over 15 matches or something, but at the same time, I do understand the sheer amount of characters to rank up could definitely be overwhelming for a new player. So maybe just do some extra XP events or something like that, but I really don't think we need an across-the-board update for faster ranking up. Even as someone who's played the game since the beginning, I do realize I'll never rank up all my hero ships, as I just don't play Starfighter Assault enough, so I guess if they want to change things up a bit with ranking, I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but I don't really think it's necessary. We could just get a couple of extra double XP weekends and call it a day. Well guys, that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to drop a like, and if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
I'm jumping in my